So this last week I received my PulseCon exclusive Force Unleashed box set. So I thought I'd go ahead and take a look at this and open up. It's a pretty nice little box. Got Starkiller and Stormtroopers, a little information here. Same image on the other side. And here it shows everything we've got with Starkiller with 3 different heads, all the different hands, lightsabers, and 2 Stormtroopers. It was a little high in price. What was this, 110 or something like that? Which for 3 figures, but has a lot of extra accessories. So I guess plus it's an exclusive. Exclusives are always more expensive, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, let's take a look at it. First of all, this is just an outer sleeve that we can pull off. Underneath, we've got the same image, but here on the other side, you can see it's opened up so we can see our Starkiller figure with several accessories, some nice artwork and everything. These look like they're open, but I'll have to cut the tape on them, so we'll do that in just a minute. So once we do that, we can now open these up, and there's Stormtroopers on the other side, which is kind of a nice way to do a setup. So, like, you could set this up if you wanted as a display and have both of these open, that sort of thing, if you had space for that. Anybody's been collecting for long enough, you probably don't have space to put a lot of boxes up. I try to keep a good space of all the exclusive stuff from the cons and that, but it's pretty full now. But this does make kind of a nice display if you wanted it to. Which the last few years we've had some nice display boxes that looked good. Unfortunately, because you have to unfold this one to really make it happen, it's not going to work for me. So I'm going to open all these guys up and check them out. Actually, one of the first things I want to point out is we have like the little rubber bands back to keep our figures in place rather than the twist ties. And I've noticed this on a few figures more recently, more specifically G.I. Joe stuff. But, so I was curious, remember we've been getting like that plastic-free packaging, like in the corner of our... They're a pain in the ass. You know what? I do. I'm only going to have one shot at doing this picture. I think this might be the way to do it, actually. You know, like this right here, plastic-free packaging, except tape and glue, right? Well, it's not plastic-free anymore, and they're not putting that on the outside of the packaging. If I look at this, nothing says plastic-free packaging like I have on this Indiana Jones figure right here. So they've completely abandoned that, which, I mean, honestly, they've totally abandoned it because we are getting window packaging, of course, again. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out, that we have these little rubber bands back if you hadn't noticed yet. All right, so if you want to find the rest of the accessories, you actually have to open up this, and it's that box down here, right here, underneath, that has all the other accessories, including the Stormtrooper. So I'd recommend doing an inventory just to make sure you have everything. I just used the side of the box here to figure out, make sure I have everything here, because there's a lot here. You can see we've got, what, 3 extra hands for each side, including one with Force Lightning, plus we have a Force Push hand, 2 heads, 1 lightsaber, 2 blue blades, 2 red blades, 2 Stormtroopers, each with a blaster, and then that kind of that, I don't know what you want to call it, the Force, I don't know, it's like explosion, I guess, which is these 3 pieces and the base here. Just kind of make sure that you've got everything in there. I would like to point out that one thing I've noticed already that's missing, really, is look where those blasters are on those Stormtroopers, right? Well, this one's flying off, but in the original artwork there, it's in a, well, maybe that's in a holster. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell if that's in a holster or not. It's at his side, which makes you think. But, of course, these are the newer kind of Mando Stormtroopers, and they have no holsters. So pretty sure they had holsters in the game. But it's kind of a one slightly thing. I really want them to update. I love this Stormtrooper. I think it's a great mold. I'm glad they updated it because it's so much better than the old one. But it needs a holster. So putting the Force Explosion here together, it is made up of those 3 pieces. They fit really well together, so it all looks like one big piece. If you look here, to try and figure out which one those go, look for like, this is like a long one with a notch in the middle. Look for those notches. Those are going to help you figure out what tabs go where. But they connect together really well. This is one of the few spots where they're not quite together, but it still works. But like this, I was like, I couldn't totally tell where one started and the other began. They just fit together so well. So it's kind of nice the way that works. So let's take a look at Galen Merrick here. Lots of good detail on him. You know, it's kind of I keep trying to reconcile some of the stuff from Force Unleashed too. Force Unleashed was one of my favorite games. I loved it. Notice we got blood on his forearm and on his shoulder. It's not something we normally see with Hasbro Star Wars figures here. Lots of great details all around. You can see there's a spot right there for his lightsaber. He has spots on his back belts for more lightsabers. So if you got some extra lightsabers in a bin hanging around, you could always put them on his belt. Too bad he didn't come with more, especially the price this was. He could have had some more accessories, right? He's got his cloak here. I don't know if there's any reuse in this. Now, I believe this figure is supposed to come as a single pack eventually. So even if you didn't get the exclusive set, you'll be able to get more. But of course, it has 2 different heads too. Let me put them. So we have the full screaming head, which is great detail on it. I do like this. I may actually display mine with this. Looks really nice. And we have this head, which, I don't know, he looks kind of dumb. Let's be honest. And it doesn't quite look like Sam Witwer at all. The sculpt just seems a little off. I don't know. I think Zach on Black Series Cantina pointed out that it looked like somebody else from another show. I can't remember what it was, but he doesn't quite look right. There's some truth to that. So here he is with his electricity. I don't know what to call it. Hands, which are pretty cool. It's a nice addition there. You basically have the same hands here, but just without the force electricity. And you have kind of normal hands, or hands to hold the lightsaber, really is what these are. One more, though. That's the force push hand. And, you know, it's got some interesting things, but because it's flat at the end, it feels like it should be like a stand or something. I don't know. It looks kind of funky to me. I'm trying to figure out how it might work here. But, you know, it's a unique look at a force push here. So his lightsaber fits on his belt. Of course, you could put it back there. But kind of a look at his lightsaber. So you can make it a red lightsaber. Focus here. Like that. It seems a little bent. It was a little odd to get in there. It does seem a little bent though, doesn't it? You can do it as a swinging lightsaber. You can do it as a blue lightsaber, or a blue lightsaber that is being swung. So you got lots of different options. A little bit with the Stormtroopers here. I mean, they're nice to have. It's good to get extra Stormtroopers, especially recreating kind of the artwork for the cover. But if they had like things for them to attach to, which I don't know, maybe you can kind of attach this. I might play with it a little bit, see if one of these attaches to a Stormtrooper or not. But maybe if you had that, it would kind of work. I mean, there's enough lightning around. I bet you could try and make it work. I don't know. But I don't think this is going to hold up a Stormtrooper, too. It's very flimsy. I don't think it'll hold it in place. But, you know, without having that, they don't really kind of work with the diorama. To me, like, this one just be best as a dead one. So these are just going to go as extra Stormtroopers somewhere in my collection. Hold on. I'm starting to realize something about the artwork on the box. This is not the artwork. These are figures. I started looking at it. What really started to clue me in was this. He's holding the lightsaber with one hand, but there's still lightning coming out. And then I started looking at this and, like, look at the knees. You can see the joints and the ankles and everything, and especially like up at the helmet. I'm like, I'm seeing the joints for these figures. This was made with this set, wasn't it? There's some, you know, Photoshop and everything in it, but this was all made with this set, which is why these figures don't have their holsters, which if you compare it to the actual game cover, you can see, I mean, it's definitely stylized like that. He even does have lightning coming out of his hand while he's holding a lightsaber. But clearly, let's see, do they have holsters? Yeah, look at that Stormtrooper. He's got a holster right there on his belt. So this is the original artwork. This is the original game right here. And yeah, this is made up with figures. I didn't even realize it. That's pretty darn good that they were able to basically recreate this using their action figures and a little bit of Photoshop work. That's pretty cool. So then I start playing with, well, what poses do I want? Kind of playing around with it. Or even poses like this. I mean, if you want to incorporate the Stormtroopers, I just have him up on his toes, but I just leaned him into the lightning, so it kind of works like that. So it looks like he's zapping him. So it looks pretty cool like that. I'm envisioning some way to use that force push. You know, you kind of balance one foot on the edge of the explosion there. You can kind of work with some various ideas to make him look like he's pushing off of the ground. I kind of want to play with this a little bit more. This one looks pretty good for that kind of idea. You can definitely see him kind of like pushing off and going in for a strike. It looks pretty good. Doing things like this almost makes me remind me of the Unleashed figures that we have, which, you know, it's funny because it's Force Unleashed, but, you know, those 6-inch figures we got years and years and years ago that were all pre-posed, but in dynamic poses and all that stuff. This reminds me a lot of that. It's pretty cool. It looks pretty good. It actually comes apart pretty well. In the end, probably going to go with something with the Force Lightning, just to use that. I think it looks pretty good. Getting it in there, I mean, you get all the rage. Look at that. It's kind of a nice shot right there. You know, it does really look good with the Stormtrooper. You can pose him around. All I'm doing is just leaning him into that lightning. So it's balancing to get that, which probably over time, that's not going to work very well. But I do like that. But, you know, really, you can start creating all sorts of different dioramas with this and having fun with it. It's a nice set. The more I play with it, the more I'm enjoying it. $110, maybe, I don't know. With the 3 figures, but all these different accessories. There's a ton of stuff. It is a lot of fun. Just doing all the different poses. It's been a little while since I really had this much fun kind of posing a figure and seeing what all you could do. And you know what this set really needs? It needs a battle damage Darth Vader. If you like the Force Unleashed stuff from 07, 08, like I did with 3 3/4 inch, that battle damage Darth Vader was one of the coolest things. I don't know if we're going to see more Force Unleashed figures in 6-inch. You know, we've had a lot in 3 3/4 inch. It's been a while. All we've been getting is like Force Unleashed 2 Starkiller for the most part lately. But this is a fun set. I'm impressed with it. It's up to you if it's worth the money, but it has a lot to it, a lot of things that you can play around with and pose it as you want and that sort of thing. So it's kind of cool. I do like it. Of course, I loved the game. It was one of my favorite games. What can go wrong with a game that starts out with you slaying Wookiees as Darth Vader, you know? I guess for now, I could just put in the battle damage Obi-Wan Kenobi Darth Vader back there with this destroyed helmet and everything like that. Kind of goes with it. I don't know. But this is a great set. I love it. I hope we get the Vader. I wouldn't mind seeing some more Force Unleashed. Like I said, it was one of my favorite video games. I know it was short, but it was so much fun to play. I loved playing it. I couldn't wait for the second one. I love that. It was great. Of course, that was back when I ran a video game store, and I even did a big midnight launch and everything for the game with Darth Vader there and everything. But I love this. This is just a cool set. There's a lot you can do with it.